Hey everyone, welcome back to the CT70 Garage YouTube channel. I've been MIA for a couple weeks, a couple other projects going on, had a little bit of a home remodel room that my wife and I were working on, and then my daughter had a project that I've been helping her with. But today we're back on bikes. Had a friend contact me and he would like a Trail 70-esque type bike. Doesn't need to be a real Honda, he said. He likes the looks of them. He's never had one. And he'd like for me to build one just for running around the yard. He's not going to try and make it street legal or anything. So I thought, I'd give it a try, see what we can do for him. He wants to keep it incredibly low budget. We're going to try and stay under $500 or $600 here if we can. He has picked up, I believe it's a 110cc engine off of Facebook Marketplace that I'm supposed to get in the next few days. So I thought I would start today's video just by pulling out some parts and start throwing things on this frame to see what we need, what we have, what it's going to look like, so forth. Now the frame, as you can see, it's a clone frame. I think that says Trail Rider. Yeah, probably a Jinching or something to that effect. I got it off of another YouTuber, David Jackson, and his dad Dan. They came down there. They bought the blue Dax bike, or Dox, however you say it, bike off of me. They came down from Detroit, and when they did, they brought this and another frame, and we did some swapping. What I swapped them, I had zero cost in. So I'm going to say that I have zero cost in this frame. And then the rest of these parts are just things that I have had laying around the shop. These are some Chinese aftermarket handlebars. What you see up here is what they gave, what I got from them. I think David could verify that that's all the parts that were on it when I got it from him. I think he gets these, takes the parts off of them, and then puts them on Honda frames, and to make riders out of them. So he doesn't use the frame, so he passed it on to me. But shocks and fenders, I buy a lot of used parts. I'm not sure where I got some of this stuff from. I used to have hordes and hordes of parts, but I built so many bikes that I'm actually going out and buying used parts now. So I know shocks and fenders and those sorts of things I pick up from Brian York, Yorkie Moto Garage, Angelo Balacino, I think is how you say his name. I bought a few parts off of him. A couple other guys. I've got a pile of tires over there, rims and tires. I didn't get them directly from them, but I think that actually came from Little Bikes Restoration takeoffs that they had. So anyway, today's video, I'm going to set the camera up and we're going to start assembling some of these parts. We're not going to clean them up. We're not going to make them functional. We're just going to throw some stuff on the bike and see what we have, and then eventually we'll break this all down, do any kind of fabrication modifications to it that we need, and then paint and fix it up. So let me get set up. We'll get set up on the bench over here. I brought out some tools. I've got some miscellaneous hardware that I think I'm going to need. I did set out my nut and bolt selection, so if we run across something we don't have, we can get it quickly. So anyway, let me get set up. Okay, so we got our rims and tires put together. Before we put them on, let's put some fenders on the bike. It's a lot easier to put the fenders on before you put the rims and tires on. Let me grab some hardware here. Give me just a second. The front fender is actually held on by the horn. Now there is you can see there's 3 bolt holes, and on a stock bike it utilizes all 3. The clone bikes, typically the fender is down lower on them, so they don't have the threaded nut right here for the 3rd one. So when we tear this all back down to do the fabrication part, the things we need to fix, that's one of the things we'll do, is we'll weld a nut up in there so that we can put that 3rd one on. Sure, it probably looks like it's kicked because we haven't pulled that up. You know, like I said, we'll modify that when we get there. All right, why don't we let's throw the tires on it. All right, you guys are looking more at the back. We'll throw the back one on first. You know what? Let's put some shocks on it first to get the swing arm up there. What do I do with my hardware? It's over here on the bench. It takes a washer up here that fits over the small shoulder, but not the big one. That keeps the center, this piece, from pushing out of the shock. Without that washer, this outside will just slide right over that larger step. And I realize that, you know, we'll probably use a Chinese exhaust with the little dog leg bracket, so we don't need that little extension that's like on a K0 for the exhaust. I haven't decided yet what color I'm going to paint this bike. I've been thinking about doing something different, like white or something that Honda, since it's not a Honda, and we're not really going to try and make it look like a Honda. I thought about doing something, you know, non-traditional Honda color. Tools are never where you want them to be, you know that? And okay, so got that. Let's see, before we put the rear tire on, we need to put the rear sprocket on it. And somewhere I had a old dirty dust cover that'll eventually get cleaned up. I didn't have a decent enough rear sprocket. Everything I had was, the teeth were laid over, so he's going to get a brand new sprocket. There's going to be a little bit of cost in this bike. We're going to try and keep it as low buck as we can. And then this snap ring just is what holds it all on there. Should have got some screwdriver. Before I lose it. Yep, let me grab a screwdriver. Hang on a second. It'll get pulled back off of there to, there it goes. It'll get pulled back off when we go to paint. Cause I'm gonna clean the rims up and paint the rims. And we're gonna have to do some serious work on the brakes. The arm doesn't move at all. Then you can even see, there goes my axle. You can even see that it's turned and stuck. Too much junk in the way. We got a little spacer we need to put in on this side before we get too crazy here. There we go. Well, I didn't put them on, spaced it. I also have brand new axle adjusters to put on there, but we don't need those on there just for the test fitting that we're doing. Those will go on there. Basically, I just want to see the bike in a roller today, just to let's kind of see what it's going to look like. Okay. You know what? I realized I didn't really move you guys up after when we did the sprocket. This stuff. And this brake is the exact same way. I don't know, these hubs must have been underwater somewhere. Gets a little more looking like a bike. Okay, before I put the handlebars on, I'm going to bring you in a little closer and show you what I'm going to do. All right, as you can see, the bike doesn't have any headlight ears on it. These clones and the 90s bikes used a little wire bracket that bolted, like right here where the Fender bolts, little wire bracket that came up, and it had some cheapy little ears mounted to it to hold the headlight. It's not a look that I like. So what I typically do is I build my own. Sometimes I cut the ears themselves out with a plasma cutter. I just happen to have a set here where we had cut them off of a bike years ago. I made some race bikes for a bike party, and rather than take the chance of somebody getting hurt, getting stabbed by fork ear, I just cut them off and smoothed out the forks on the bikes. And so, but I saved the ears, and I've used, I think this might be the last set. I think I've used the other 3 sets, and this is the last set that I have. So what I'm going to do is we'll take the top clamp off. This is 1.25" OD with an 0.95 or 95 thousandths inch wall thickness, and it slides right over top of those. And then we will weld the ears to those. That's going to sit right on there. Those will get welded on there. I'm not going to go with any knobs. I'm just going to use this. This is the aftermarket Chinese clamp. It's a little different than the Honda. You can see here on the Honda, there's a nut that screws a big. Hang on just a second. There. That screws in, and then the knob goes through that. And sorry that my phone, if the video shakes at some points, I'm having some issues with my iPhone. I'm going to have to get a newer phone. This one's rather old. So anyway, so all we've got is just the small, roughly 5/16, 3/8 hole through there. So I'm just going to put a bolt through it. I'm not even going to worry about knobs. Like I said, he's not concerned for 1 second about accuracy of originality. He just wants it that, if you glance and you go, oh yeah, that's, looks like a Trail 70. You guys that watch these videos will be able to pick out in a heartbeat that it's not, but that's okay. He just wants something to ride right around the yard with kids and so forth. Okay, so that's that, and like I said, these we'll weld those on there. Then I've got headlight bucket that will go here, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to hook lights up, run a wiring harness for lights, but I at least want it to be on there so that it looks like it has lights on it. With that, let's move to the back and put a taillight bracket on it. Let's see, hardware. socket. All right, so as you can see, the taillight bracket I've got has been painted numerous times by someone. So we're going to have to make a decision the same way with the spark plug guard has been painted. Since they've been painted, I'll probably go and you know, fashion the bike after the newer style, the K4s and forward 76, 77 that had painted taillight brackets and painted spark plug guards. Actually the brake pedal was painted. This one's chrome, so we'll probably leave it that way. Uh-oh, we need a washer. Hang on a second. Not that I really need it for today's purposes. Okay, got that. Tank. I've got a tank bracket, but I don't have the little gasket, so I'll have to come up with something. Let's see how much they cost. They can't cost a lot, can they? I've never purchased one before to know, but we'll look and see if we have to pick one of those up. I don't think I have any in used parts, but we might be able to rob one off another bike or something. Oh, you know what, before I do that, I also have a chrome piece, but you know what, I'm not going to snap it down on there. Because I just got to pull it back off. Kind of set it on there for looks. Of course, it doesn't want my stuff to line up because I don't have it on there right. Come on, get on there. Won't go by hand, just force it. There you go. It'll find threads. There's that. Let's see. I have a seat off of a clone. Got the bike up too high. All right, what is that? That's probably a 13. Something like that. What do you think? Is it starting to look like something? Getting closer, getting closer. I've got I found a brake rod that, oh, come on, focus on the brake rod. Someone has done a really poor job of modifying that. But that's what we're going to use. We're going to try and fix that. Put that on there. I'm going to go with, just have this little small tail light. I think it's going to go there because I'm not going to use a nice Honda tail light. The money on that. I am going to go with a aftermarket throttle setup on the handlebars, and I believe he said the engine he's bringing is a manual, so we'll have to get lever perches and levers. You know, I think what I'm going to do, because I need to get the cradle mounted, and on these bikes only one hole is threaded, this one, and they thread that one, and they actually just have a hole there that's not threaded because it's just a little wire loop thing to hold the wiring harness that comes out of here up to the headlight, and they attach it there. It kind of fits in there, in and then up, and then it bolts here, and that's just what holds the wiring harness. Because these aftermarket bikes, they're clones of the 90s bikes, which don't have the engine guard. But to me, it's not really a Trail 70 looking bike unless it's got the engine guard. It has to have it. And on this side, there are no holes at all. So I think I'm going to put an engine in it. I've got just a mock-up engine. It's a gutted engine case that will allow me to, I can bolt it to the frame and then allow me to bolt the bottom bolts for the engine cradle, so I know where to line up for the top. So let me get that pulled out and get it off of this stand and on something else. Should have got a longer. I think I will get a longer screw or a longer bolt. Hang on a second. Well, see if I can find one. And that said, I don't think that was any longer. It wasn't. That one wasn't any longer than the first one. It's terrible when you get old, guys, and your eyesight starts leaving you. And all right, there's that. Now, for the other ones, I'm not going to thread those or anything. I'm going to use self-drilling screws. This one's easy because I already got a hole there. And that will be tight enough. Yeah, I'll bring it around the other side so you can see me. Who knows, I might screw it up or something. Let me turn you off and move you to the other side of the bike. Try and mark that first. Maybe get that out of the way. Once it starts going, I'll pull it back. Pull it back out. Okay. See what kind of luck we have on the other one. Oh yeah, that'll work for me. Okay, let's go around and put the engine guard on the other side. So that just looks like that. Not much different than if it was threaded and you put a bolt in it. If you haven't done it yet, get yourself some taps for cleaning out threads and so forth. A lot of these are a M6 by 1.00 thread. You can buy these taps online, or if you've got like a Fastenal in your town, or some kind of nut and bolt supply usually has taps and dies. But both of these, you know, a lot of the stuff that bolts to the frame use the same thread. They're just handy to have around. Wow, that is way off. I'm going to guess I didn't pay any attention. We've got a problem. We're at least a couple inches off. What do you think? You think this on the guard has been out? I guess we're going to have to take that back out and maybe hit it with a hammer or something here and straighten it up. Yeah, that's not even close. Gosh, let's don't break it off. What do I do with my hammer? A little more. Probably better to do it this way than hitting it with a hammer. I can control it a little bit better. Yeah, let's see if we can get that to work. Yeah, when you use a tap on those, boy, it sure makes the stuff go together a lot easier. I don't know what happened to my 10 millimeter, but we don't need to tighten it all the way up anyway. Okay. Come on, zoom. Let's see if we can throw this bent piece of crap on there. Seems like it's a tad bit long. Of course, our brakes aren't adjusted either, but that gets the pedals where it's not hanging there. Well, we got a long way to go, but it looks more like a bike. So I've got to round up a few more parts. Like I said, I got to get some perches for the clutch and the front brake. I've got to find the cables for those. He's going to supply the engine. I got to round up some fuel line. We're not going to worry about a battery, so we're probably not going to worry about a battery box. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking out loud here, guys. A chain. Wonder if he's going to, you know, I wonder if he got a, I don't know if he bought a whole bike or if he just bought an engine. I think he just bought the engine, so we'll have to round up some chain. Some kind of kill switch on off. So I've got a few more things to round up. I think I'm going to shut it off for today. That's pretty good progress. I think in the next video I'll have it all torn back down, and we'll need to start doing some fabrication. I want to get rid of this and the one on the other side, because the seat doesn't have, somebody's already robbed the little posts that would have come down and fit through those. So we're going to get rid of those. And then I've got a bunch of old bent up seat pans, Honda seat pans, that I'm going to cut the latch out and weld the latch to the bottom, and then we will install an original Honda latch down here. We'll have to drill a hole out the side here for this arm to come out, little trip lever. So we've got that to do. We've got our ears to put on here. Figure out the height on those and take some measurements off of other bikes. I want to cut that off. The other thing I haven't done is located a chain guard. We'll have to get a chain guard. It's already got little holes, but I don't think those are where the holes for the chain guard would line up. We'll have to probably drill holes and do that so we can put a chain guard on it. But that'll be in the next video. I think for today I'm going to wrap it up. Guys, thanks for following along. Like I said, I was just doing a lot of talking out loud, just throwing parts on this thing to kind of see, you know, start making a list of what I don't have yet. So we're somewhat of a roller. So, all right, guys, everybody have a great day. Thanks for following along, subscribing, liking, commenting, everything. And we will see you probably in a few days on the next video. Thanks.